Alright guys, welcome back to Nifty Network. Today we have a DE350Z and I'm going to show you how to remove your fan assembly if yours is broken or something ain't right. Let's get to it. We have our little drain bucket right here. I always separate my oil and my coolant. So I'm going to put this up really high, and the reason I do that is because coolant splashes a lot easier than oil does. So we'll undo this Phillips head plastic fitting. Alright, so we got our Phillips head on there, and this is called your bleeder valve, just so you know. Spin that to the left like loosey, and then once it loosens up you can pop it out, let that drain. This should be good. And with this you want to get it tight but not too tight, because that is a rubber screw basically, or a plastic screw at the end of the day. Alright, so once this is all drained, if you need help bleeding your coolant now, I'll put the video here. Shane, when you edit it, I want you to bring. There you go. That's how you're gonna bleed your coolant. Alright, now we got coolant drained. We'll set this to the side. And then we'll come over here. So basically there's a 10 mil right here that holds the coolant reservoir in. We just did that. And then there's a hose that comes over to the top of the radiator. That's the overflow line. And then I always like to get the line, basically keep this line higher than the bottle, because if it has any coolant in it and the bottle, the line is down, then you're gonna leak everywhere. So I just wrap it up like that, and then we'll drain this. All right, so now that we have the coolant reservoir out of here, I'm gonna undo the upper pipe on the radiator. We're just gonna pinch that, work it up forward. Be careful with these things too, because if your pliers slip off of this and your fingers are in the way, you're definitely gonna know, because these things snap really hard on you. It's normal for these clamps to get worn out too. So basically what's happening is the clamp isn't allowing me to squeeze it hard enough to get it over the hose easily, so we're sliding it. So we got that freed up. Now we're gonna do this side. See, that's how it's supposed to slide off. And then what I like to do to free these up is I'll just rotate this. So that side broke free. And I'm just gonna kind of give this some love. If it doesn't come off, we'll slide this off and then kind of pull a little harder on it. Okay, so now that that is free, we're gonna, and if it's that corroded to where it's locked on there, you can get channel locks and squeeze on this pipe. But when you do this, sometimes it can tear it. That thing is like really on there. Okay, so you see it break loose. Now we'll slide it off. Okay. And if you tear this, obviously you need to get a new pipe. Alright, so now we have all this open up here. There's two 10s that hold the fan shroud on. So we'll get a 10. Come to this side. And I've been saying fan shroud, it's fan assembly if you want to be very technical. Alright, so now we see that the whole shroud is loose. We can also lift this up, but I'm going to show you why I'm not going to do that. Okay, so now we are under the car. You can disregard the sway bar being off. Normally that'll be right here. I guess it does give you a little more room. If you're having problems, you can remove your sway bar or drop it down. But we're gonna go up here. There's gonna be two plugs that hold the fan assembly on, or that power the fan assembly. So we're gonna undo that clip, and then there's a second one right here. And then there's going to be a little clip on there that we're gonna have to use our pry tool to pop off. So you pop that out of there, get that out of the way. And now we're gonna go over to the lower hose on our the lower hose on our radiator. That guy is right here. And we did already drain our coolant. So don't be popping this hose off if you haven't drained your coolant. I am going to put this under. I'm going to put my little cubby, or my little bucket under here because it is going to leak a little bit. And there is no way that you are able to take the fan shroud out or fan assembly out unless you drain the coolant. Because you either got to remove the top hose or you have to remove the bottom hose because the hoses are around the fan assembly. So we'll break this loose, pull this off of here. And even though we bled it through, even though we bled it through this bleeder hose, or the bleeder port, you saw how much still came out of there. So whenever I bleed the coolant on something, and I want every bit of it to go out, I'll actually pull this lower hose off, because you see how much more came out. Alright, so as that finishes draining, see, look how much came out of that. And we had already drained it with the bleeder valve. So everything is loose, and I found it easiest to remove the fan shroud from the bottom because it just comes flying right out. If you take it out from the top, it binds up on the power steering pump and it binds up on the upper neck of the radiator. And I just find it way easier. Even with the radiator, I find it easier to slide it in from the bottom and then do the top. But that is how you remove a fan assembly on your 350Z.